2 of our 7 battleground states. Polls have now closed. Let's flip back to 2020 because it's more instructive when you're looking at Wisconsin. And Joe Biden, he won this, of course, by 30,000 votes. It was very tight. It's a very similar story to the other battleground states. So you see a lot of red on this map. The Democrats, of course, have to run it up in the suburban metro areas, so Milwaukee certainly. And here in Dane County, there's a really interesting trend in Dane County. Since 2000, Democrats have put on a 20,000 extra vote share in every cycle. So they certainly need that out of Dane County tonight. That's Madison and the University of Wisconsin. The lookout here as well in La Crosse. There are 3 colleges out here. This is very blue-collar country, actually, but a lot of young voters out there. So we will see what Donald Trump gets out of that. He has that propensity, of course, to pull out the blue-collar workers across the map. What happens there tonight is an interesting spot in Wisconsin. But we'll be looking from his perspective at what we call the wow counties, the collar counties around Milwaukee. So you're talking about Zauke, you're talking about Washington and Waukesha. This is about 1 in 5 votes if you include Racine in the state, and this is where he did quite well in 2016. So he'll be looking there, and he'll also be looking at Packers country up here in Brown. I think this is quite purple because Joe Biden did quite well in this area in 2020. And then I just point you to this. This is Door County here. Only around 30,000 voters here. Joe Biden, you can see, just won it by a handful of votes. Let me put it here for you. There you go. You can see he only won it by 250 votes. But this is a really interesting thing. Door is the weather vane of the state. They have got the presidential race correct in every cycle since 1996. So where goes Door, goes the rest of the state. Let's have a quick look at, we'll come back to Arizona. Let me go back the other way and we'll go across the way to Michigan. Here we go. Sorry, let me go back. There we go. Right, Michigan. What's really interesting about Michigan, again, what you'll see across the map is that if I flip it back to 2020, there's a lot of red here. So on the peninsula and in the northern part of the state, Donald Trump runs it up quite a lot. But this is really only 15% of the vote. In 2020, Joe Biden put on 5% in 9 counties around the south here. And that is about 1/3 of the vote these counties account for. So he was running up the vote again in suburban areas. Now, what are we looking at? We're looking at Wayne County because this is Detroit, 70% black. She needs to do a lot better in Detroit than Hillary Clinton did in 2016. Really, the collapse in the black vote in Detroit was the reason she lost the state. But we're also looking tonight in Wayne County at Dearborn. You'll have heard a lot about that. About 130,000 there, 30,000 Arab Americans, many of them Lebanese, who are deeply unhappy, of course, about the situation in the Middle East. Many of them said they were going to be uncommitted tonight. They couldn't vote for Donald Trump, who introduced a Muslim ban, but they couldn't vote for Kamala Harris. Do they come back to the Democratic fold or not? We'll have a look at these 2 counties as well. Macomb County, this is very much Trump territory. Blue-collar, auto workers, machine workers, very much Trump territory. But next door, you've got really more suburban area, more affluent. The women have really turned Oakland County really from a Republican area back to a Democratic area. And one last thing I just want to look at, this state here, which is red, this is a bellwether state, Grand Traverse. This is cherry country, okay? And it really did narrow in 2020. People couldn't really understand it. They wondered if COVID was one of the reasons. But they'll look at that very closely tonight because you know what they say, life is a bowl of cherries, but sometimes you've got to wash the dishes.